Caterham Roadsport's challenge from Donington Park in Leicestershire, and this high-speed circuit should be a very good test of the drivers in this category. On the front row of the grid, Mark Mail, car number 5, and Rob Barth, number 18. Jerry Taylor's qualified in 4th place. Alongside him to his right should be Ross Beer. Now let's see how they do. Beer gets ahead. Jerry Taylor still in 4th place, looking to the outside. You can see there the red machine. All right behind, there's contact there, the number 17, that's Paul Whitford, spun out. Just a little touch of the wheels, and I think he may be in there too deep. Down the crane of curves then come the leader. With the orange headlamp covers, Mark Mail is the leader. Rob Barth right behind him, and Jerry Taylor's move into 3rd place was successful. Now he's looking for 2nd. Well, with some help from the marshals, off goes Paul Whitford, about half a lap behind everybody else. Riding now with Jerry Taylor. Oh dear, just managed to keep it all together. Riding the curbs pretty heavily at McLean's, up into Coppice. Changing down, turning in again, just a little touch of the curbs, and then power all the way out on the exit. And onto the long, fast Starkey straight. And everybody, as you can see, weaving all over the road, trying to make sure nobody picks up an aerodynamic tow from them. But Taylor is fairly well placed. Rob Barth going down the inside of the poleman, Mark Mail, and this pretty much setting the tone of the race, I think. Whoever's ahead coming out of the final corner may win it. Going into the final corner ahead, you may still well be overtaken. So Rob Barth leading now, and Mark Mail going down the inside, doesn't quite have a look there. Jerry Taylor still in 3rd place, Ross Beer right behind them. The rest of the field all having their own similar outbreaking battles down the Melbourne Loop. 96 there, Anthony Jackson, right towards the tail, and somebody's lost a nose. It's car number 7, in fact, who's lost his nose, and that's Chris Cooper. Riding again with Jerry Taylor, and again you can see leading down the straight is not good news in these Caterham Roadsports machines, because that means the car behind you gets a chance to sit in your slipstream and pick up a few extra revs, and that allows him to draft past, then outbrake you. So Mark Mail leads down the crane of curves once more. Rob Barth in 2nd place. Our camera car, Jerry Taylor, bringing us the view from 3rd. Down into the old hairpin they come, and somebody's gone off very hard indeed off Hollywood. And that was Robert Shaw, the number 35 machine, qualified in 18th place, and his race over after just 1 full lap of Donington Park. The leader then, Mark Mail, from Rob Barth and Jerry Taylor. Ross Beer and Ross Bygrave, it looks to be almost side by side for 4th place. There's Robert Shaw's car, he's safely out and walked away from that one. Again, onto the Starkey Straight section of the track, and under the bridge, starting to reach maximum speed here. Now hard onto the brakes, and Jerry Taylor makes it through into 2nd place. Mark Mail still leading, Taylor in 2nd, and you can see when the power gets on in these cars, you have trouble controlling the rear end. It starts to spin the wheels and slide. Looking down the inside, under braking is Jerry Taylor. I don't think he was trying to make a move, just guarding the line against Rob Barth. And successfully so, Jerry Taylor still in 2nd place. That reddy-orange colour scheme, very distinctive here in between the 2 white cars. Mark Mail just ahead of us. Now let's see whether this is going to end up being a move for the lead. It certainly is, and Jerry Taylor having a great drive out to the final corner, Goddard's. And suddenly he's slowing. His hand is out of the cockpit. He has got no forward motion. Now then, Mark Mail leading Rob Barth now at this stage of the race. Ross Bygrave still 3rd, Ross Beer in 4th place, but right with them is the number 7 machine. Chris Cooper, despite having lost that radiator, you'd think the car might be hampered by that aerodynamically, but these cars have the aerodynamics of a brick outhouse anyway, so it probably doesn't make too much difference. Driving talent greatly affects the car. Aerodynamic balance really doesn't too much. Barth leads then, Mail 2nd, Bygrave 3rd, oh dear, Bygrave 3rd, or is it 2nd as they get to the line? It is 2nd, because Mark Mail had a big moment there, and coming between the group of them is the really very ugly looking number 7 machine of Chris Cooper. Certainly not aesthetically pleasing at all without all that front bodywork. lost the nose cone and the bonnet early in the race. We saw that. But he's still right in amongst them. He's got the indicators going and everything. Bygrave second, and Cooper now up to 4th place ahead of the number 11 machine. That's Ross Beer.
Back in the lead, incredibly, Rob Barth.
So Rob Barth is leading this one from Ross Bygrave. Mark Mail in 3rd place. 4th place, the number 7 machine, Chris Cooper. There he is. Interesting mix of old and new names in this leading group. Some guys new to the championship, some more experienced. Oh, and Ross Bygrave, one of the more experienced runners. His season cut short by a massive accident at Castle Combe last autumn. But back here for the new season. Spins out at Coppice. Well, Rob Barth leading, and with a little gap now as well. Mark Mail in 2nd place, Chris Cooper in 3rd. Oh dear, he really is going to lose the front end of the car, accelerating right into the back of Mark Mail, pushing him along. How is that radiator holding on? It is just attached by the hoses, that's all. Nothing else holding it in place, I'm sure. Rob Beer there, also getting past Mark Mail. Well, Cooper with dents in the exhaust, no front bodywork, a loose radiator. Certainly seems to be having a fairly determined, if not uneventful drive. 2nd place at the moment, indicator still on. I'm sure he couldn't really care less too much about that. 77 here, Nick Jacobs just sorts it out. Chris Cooper trying to pull everybody up with him, but he is being attacked from behind. Ross Beer going with him. Well, those two may well slipstream themselves right up onto the tail of the leader now. In fact, they do. Look at this, the number 7 machine on its own. Chris Cooper just goes straight by him. Mark Mail moved up into 4th at the same place as well, ahead of Rob Jenkinson, so Mail may not be completely done with this battle, but Chris Cooper leads in the ugliest car in the field, no question about it. Well, Cooper really seems to have some sort of advantage there. Number 20, Rob Jenkinson, and Rob Barth behind them. He's been shuffled all the way to the back of the pack now. He's down to 5th. Well, it may not be pretty looking, but it's pretty effective, Cooper's car. There's the recovering Ross Bygrave going through shot, and there is Nick Jacobs getting it all horribly out of shape at the S's. He power slides his way back onto the track. See if he can pick up a bit of speed there. Chris Cooper started 7th in the number 7 machine. Ross Beer in 2nd place, started in 3rd. Mark Mail in 3rd place was the pole position man.
But they're closing as they go.
And this is Ross Bygrave. Bygrave, of course, right in amongst the leading pack early on. Spun out, now holding down 10th position. So through the S's for the final time and onto the Grand Prix loop. Over the rise, down to the Melbourne hairpin. They're just not close enough to try a move here. No tyre smoke, perfectly controlled braking from Chris Cooper. Nice power slides from the trio. Up the hill they go. To Goddard's. Changing down the gearbox, braking hard once more. Nice, comfortable turn in here. Close to the apex. Just control the power on the exit. And he takes the checkered flag. Chris Cooper first across the line, holding off Ross Beer and Mark Mail. But for Cooper, post-race scrutineering turns triumph into tragedy. His car was excluded from the results because it was running an irregular ride height. So the winner was this man, Ross Beer, car number 11 from Mark Mail. Rob Jenkinson then taking 3rd from Alan Finn, Guy Spur and Miles Morehouse.
Alton Park was the venue for round 3, the Cheshire Parkland circuit, as usual, featuring a particularly close race.
Rob Barth, Alan Finn, Ross Bygrave, Rob Jenkinson, Jerry Taylor. They're the 11 car of Ross Beer. He's worked himself nicely up the order from a 10th starting position. And here come the race leaders as tightly together as you would expect in any kind of Caterham action. Rob Jenkinson in 4th, carries the camera as Ross Bygrave goes to the inside of the purple car of Alan Finn, takes the place. Finn having to get onto the brakes there to avoid contact at Island, losing a little bit of momentum. Now he's under pressure from Jenkinson, who has got Taylor going around the outside. No room there for Jerry Taylor, at least not quite enough. Now dives to the inside, the red car. That won't work there either because Jenkinson's got that covered. He's got Mark Mail right behind him, and the yellow car is Chris Cooper on the back of that little train car, number 7. Pressure again on the third place man, Alan Finn. We ride with the man applying that pressure. Rob Jenkinson. Under the Bailey Bridge we go. Finn guarding the inside. Jenkinson has got more speed, just nowhere to place the car. Finn right up on the curbs. That'll slow him on the exit. Can Jenkinson make use of that? No, he can't. Still got Jerry Taylor behind him in 5th place and looking ominous as well. Right behind Alan Finn, almost touching him down the inside. This time Jenkinson makes the move. Up into 3rd place he goes. And still Rob Bath hasn't been able to put into practice what he did in qualifying, which is finding an extra 0.3 of a second a lap from somewhere. Maybe he just had a good draft in qualifying. Getting into somebody's slipstream on the right place on a qualifying lap can really make a big difference to the amount of speed you can pull in a straight line. And he's leading now, so everybody else in his slipstream towing up behind him and trying to jump out from that slipstream now. Ross Bygrave. Rob Jenkinson went to the other side. And again, Jerry Taylor looking for 4th from Alan Finn, and this time as they come across the start-finish line, he may have the move. He has indeed. He's alongside him on the inside, beats him under braking. Alan Finn has to give best. He's got Cooper right behind him now. The number 7 car is Chris Cooper. But we are in 3rd place, 1st and 2nd, right ahead, almost within touching distance, the two of them. Jerry Taylor in 4th. So again, Rob Jenkinson will have to just have a wary eye on his mirrors. Right behind Ross Bygrave, picking up those extra few revs as you're in the hole that the car ahead has punched in the air on the inside of Island, but no real chance to make that move there. Wasn't quite alongside enough. Ross Bygrave takes the initiative once more. Under braking, right up against the inside. That's it, a wheel in the little concrete gutter there, just to hold you in nice and tight. Fire out on the exit. Jerry Taylor now lined up right behind Rob Jenkinson. Can he make a move here down into Fulstons? He's not close enough, but this is a chance now on the run-up to Knickerbrook as Ross Bygrave gets it wrong. Jenkinson held up badly. Taylor can't make the move either, but somebody is coming along the outside. That's got to be Mark Mail and Chris Cooper. Let's see who appears in our camera car. Oh my goodness, there's 5 of them in a bunch. This is going to be a big sort out. Bygrave gets in ahead, then Jenkinson, then Taylor. And in fact, the only real change there, Chris Cooper now up behind Jerry Taylor and ahead of Mark Mail. Alan Finn being slowly but surely shuffled down the pack. Again, we're making the move for 2nd. This is through Clay Hill and into Druids. Oh, and Rob Jenkinson gets through, and so importantly does Jerry Taylor. Ross Bygrave pushed down. So Bygrave went from 2nd to 4th there, but it's not done with yet. Jenkinson passed by Taylor as they go into Lodge. So Taylor up into 2nd, big group behind. Alan Finn hits the back of Ross Bygrave. Oh, and Bygrave is almost stationary. They're all trying to weave their way round him. Oh, I wonder if some sort of electrical short or something has just stopped the car. Meanwhile, Jerry Taylor's 2nd, Rob Jenkinson in 3rd place. Well, Ross Bygrave out of the hunt here, but Jerry Taylor needs to get his skates on because Rob Bath is a long way ahead on the road now. There's the 44 car of Peter Haynes, still battling for position. And let's have a look from Ross Beer's viewpoint as we go back again. Bygrave gets hit and everybody slows down. Oh, Beer just gets through. I think the guy who got hung out behind Ross Bygrave was Guy Spur. Now they have closed down on Rob Bath. Jerry Taylor in 2nd place, Rob Jenkinson in 3rd, Alan Finn under pressure over the start-finish line. And Rob Bath being passed by Jerry Taylor or not. Not this time, but Jerry Taylor and Rob Jenkinson right with him. Riding again with Jenkinson. Down the avenue. Through the right-hand road, Denton's braking hard. Taylor on the outside. Will he have a better run out of the corner? Out of Cascades? No, they're pretty much as you would expect them to be. Taylor, though, with the slipstream, makes the move early. Rob Jenkinson's going with him. No, surely not. He won't get through there, but Taylor leads. Rob Bath in 2nd, Jenkinson in 3rd. Bath looks down the inside into Shell Oils, takes the place back. Bath leads, Taylor 2nd, Jenkinson 3rd. Behind them, it's Chris Cooper, the yellow car with the blue highlights, and Alan Finn leading the rest in 5th place. And now Rob Bath has got Jenkinson right behind him, but Taylor goes through again into the first turn, gets that toe along the straight, and that's enough to leave him in the braking area ahead of his rival. Bath now sitting around the outside at Denton's, into Cascades, has the lead back. Jenkinson inside Taylor, can he go for second here? Jerry Taylor really just seems to have the speed to hold off Jenkinson. There's not much in it at all, is there? But Taylor is more intent on getting ahead. Gets ahead again into Island. Down into Shell, he'll defend hard. And the rest of the field some way back and just holding it together on the grass as they get a bit sideways out of Cascades. But here come the leaders. Jerry Taylor out front again into the Knickerbrook chicane. He stays ahead of Rob Bath. Rob Jenkinson third, but Chris Cooper right with him. Jenkinson under pressure now. He's being held up by the two ahead. He can't go much faster, but it does limit his options going into and coming out of corners. Trying to make the move down the inside into Druids. Gets second place from Rob Bath. He does indeed. Gets a little tap for his pains, but no damage done to either car. Chris Cooper in 4th. Mark Mayle closing up behind them now. There's Mayle right behind them. Second place, Rob Jenkinson. Tight in at the apex, trying to hold on to Jerry Taylor. This midfield battle getting more and more excitable by the moment. Taylor, Jenkinson, and coming inside Jenkinson is Rob Bath. Doesn't make it that time. Gosh, they are so close. Chris Cooper 4th, Mark Mayle in 5th place still. Stuart Wright leads the battle for 9th place. Miles Morehouse all over the grass there in 69. Peter Haynes right with him, but again the battle for the lead. 3 abreast. Oh, goodness, no, not into Highland. Jerry Taylor leads then. Rob Jenkinson 2nd. Not for long though, I can't believe it. Rob Bath went round the outside of the both of them under braking into Shell Oils. Oh my goodness me, that was brave stuff. He sits alongside Jerry Taylor, but Jerry Taylor will have the advantage. Bath in 2nd, Jenkinson in 3rd. That was heroic stuff from Rob Bath. Where did he ever think that move up? Oh my goodness, but Jenkinson hits him. Oh dear, Rob Jenkinson. Well, they were so close, he just couldn't quite turn out of the slipstream. Jerry Taylor leads then. 2nd place, Rob Bath, Chris Cooper, Mark Mayle, Ross Beer, and we've lost Rob Jenkinson. Well, he's ripped off the right front wheel. It's just sitting there rather uselessly as he's stuck in the middle of the road. Here comes the battle now. This is for 8th place. Stuart Wright, Miles Morehouse, Peter Haynes, the 44 machine. Morehouse holding it all together earlier on and dearly. Right behind them, Philip Darby, and then Paul Whitford. Coming to the line though, Jerry Taylor leading from Rob Bath, Chris Cooper, Mark Mayle, and Ross Beer. Those are the top 5 all together and covered by 1.4 seconds for the 5 cars. A fantastic race, but what a disappointment for Rob Jenkinson. Here behind them, the battle for 8th place. Stuart Wright holding on there from Miles Morehouse, Peter Haynes. Oh dear, well, Peter Haynes holds on. Philip Darby got all over the road there at the exit of Lodge. But let's have a look again now on the final lap at what happened to Rob Jenkinson. There he is in 3rd place behind the white car of Rob Bath, accelerating hard out of Fulston's. Bath misses a gear or something to slow him down. Big impact as Jenkinson hits the back of him. The car turns sharp right as he loses his right front wheel, slams into the barriers. Well, fortunate not to be injured in that one, but Rob Jenkinson must be a bit of a disappointed man. Jerry Taylor, anything but. He wins the race after a very fraught battle with all concerned. There is your top 6. And Jerry Taylor taking victory in round 3, but it's Ross Beer who leads the championship points. The grid for the Caterham Roadsports Challenge race at Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. All these cars, identical chassis, identical 1600cc K-Series Rover engines, and identical chance to win the race perhaps, although Jerry Taylor getting a good start from the inside of the front row immediately gives away his qualifying advantage of pole position to Rob Bath. The white car goes into an early lead. So Bath, the white car with the Dayglow orange headlamps, Jerry Taylor in 2nd place, up to the hairpin at Druids with Ross Bygrave. Started in 11th, trying to use the outside line to the hairpin to pick up places. That's fraught with potential disaster though, because you could so easily get knocked off on the outside. Kicking up the dust there was Guy Spur, car number 2. Back with Ross Bygrave on the Cooper Straights, turning into Surtees. Oh, and right across his bows, almost spinning, goes number 32. That's Stuart Wright, just holding on to that one. Battle for the lead here. On the inside line, Jerry Taylor, and we ride with Rob Bath on the outside as they get to Hawthorne Bend. Down the Derek Minter Straight, another right-hander coming up, that's Westfield, and this time Taylor has his nose firmly chopped off as the door is shut by Rob Bath. Bath leads, Taylor second, the yellow car there, Chris Cooper. He goes up into second place. Purple car in fourth place belongs to Alan Finn, who qualified in fifth. Behind him, the lime green car of Guy Spur, number 2. The rest of the field stringing out behind them. Riding again with Ross Bygrave. Peter Haynes right ahead of us, getting very sideways out of paddock. Bygrave up the inside into Druids, changing down, on the braking. Holds the tight line. Haynes is right there on the outside. He's got no room to run wide, so he can't use full power out of the corner. Haynes still ahead, down into Graham Hill Bend. Haynes holds on again, there he is. There is the 13 car of Bygrave, kicking up the dirt. Right behind him, Warren Gilbert, number 15, also goes a little wide. Turning into Surtees again, and Gilbert goes up the inside. Can he hold it together? No, he goes off as well, just like Stuart Wright did the previous lap, right across Bygrave's bows. Challenge for the lead here. The yellow car with the blue noseband is Chris Cooper. Chops off Rob Bath as they go into Hawthorne Bend. Bath in second. Third place, the orange car of Jerry Taylor. Riding with the second place man. And if you're wondering what's flapping beside his head, that is the side screen of the Caterham. That's the rudimentary weather protection, a door if you like, because Caterhams don't have doors to keep the rain out. And the reason they're using it in the race is because it does help make the car a little aerodynamic. It also creates still air inside the cockpit, so you can actually breathe at high speed. Otherwise, the wind hitting the upright windscreen does tend to suck the air out of the cockpit. And you drive along with your mouth open, gulping like a fish. Jerry Taylor there in third place with little plastic side screens attached to the windscreen. Have the same effect, but he doesn't have the full weatherproof side screens on. Whatever, he seems to have the pace to go around the outside and into the lead at paddock. Into second place now goes Rob Bath. Third is Chris Cooper. Right with them is Rob Jenkinson, the orange and blue car, coming up the inside. He's in fourth. Little bit of a lock up there from Chris Cooper. Runs wide. Jenkinson goes inside him. Little bit of contact. They've both survived it though. Jerry Taylor leads from Rob Bath, and into the gravel goes the 17 machine, Paul Whitford. Ross Bygrave closing up onto this lead group, but in his own little battle. Coming towards us, Rob Bath leads in the white car, number 20 going up into second place. Rob Jenkinson in third place, the red machine of Jerry Taylor. Right behind them, the yellow car of Chris Cooper, and on the back of the little pack there, number 2 Guy Spur, the lime green machine. Jenkinson holding on, second position, flying over the curbs at Dingledell. Now Jenkinson looking to make a move around the outside for the lead. Rob Bath in the white car in first place, and still in first place as they come out of paddock. Jenkinson, if he gets a good run, will look up the inside into Druids. Bath moves over on him, no chance there. Action further back the field, and 3 abreast into Clearways. Oh my goodness me, all goes wrong for the man in the middle who's just got out of the gravel, Paul Whitford. And also in trouble there, Nick Jacobs, the 77 car, went off on the inside in avoidance and just couldn't do anything about it. A heavy thump in the barriers. Still in second place, Rob Jenkinson. Still in third place, Jerry Taylor, the orange car, number 8. Slightly further back, the yellow car with the blue nosebands, that's Chris Cooper. But the man in the white machine with the Dayglow green headlamps, Rob Bath, doing his very best to hold on to this one. Oh, Ross Bygrave getting very sideways on the brakes and really fighting the tail of the car there. Battle for second place as Jerry Taylor in the red machine takes it over from Rob Jenkinson, car number 20. And still not quite able to join in the action is Chris Cooper there, the yellow machine. Maybe he's keeping his powder dry for the last couple of laps, but he'll need to be a little closer if he's to have any chance at all of challenging. Number 2 there, Guy Spur dropping right back. Warren Gilbert here with his nose half knocked off. That's going to make it very difficult to see. And replay here of a very narrow miss indeed for Simon Kempton, going off into the gravel and then, just missing the stationary car. A very narrow squeak indeed for Guy Spur's teammate. Well, here comes the race leader then, Rob Bath. Jerry Taylor right behind him and poised to make a move. Dives out of the slipstream, goes around the outside. Rob Jenkinson right behind as tyres squeal in protest at being locked under braking. Riding now with Rob Bath in second place. Around the outside, Jerry Taylor right there. Sliding out of Druids, big slide. He loses a little bit of time, but Bath can't get past. He's pushing Taylor down the hill, literally there. Looks to the inside at Graham Hill Bend. Doesn't think the move's on. Locks up the brake as he tries desperately to avoid the contact. Taylor leads, Bath second. In third place, Rob Jenkinson makes a look to the inside. Doesn't quite have a real move there, but certainly showing his nose to Rob Bath. Now then, down Pilgrim's Drop we go, plunging down the hill where Johnny Herbert had his momentous Formula 3000 shunt several years ago. And into the lead, safely through Hawthorne Bend goes Rob Bath. Jerry Taylor in second and under pressure from Rob Jenkinson and now from Chris Cooper as well. Down Dingledell for the final time, up towards the Dingledell chicane. Bath leads, Taylor flies high in second place, Jenkinson and Cooper right with him. Into Stirling's now for the race leader. Championship points leader Ross Beer in 8th place, under pressure from Peter Haynes in the last lap. But no pressure now for Rob Bath. Jerry Taylor not quite close enough to try anything here. It'll be a drag race out of Clark Curve for the final time. Down towards the line, Jerry Taylor pops out of the slipstream. It's very close indeed. Oh my goodness me. Well, that looks like pretty much another dead heat between Rob Bath and Jerry Taylor. Rob Jenkinson about a quarter of a second away, if that, in third place. The rest of them streaming across the line. Well, look at that. Rob Bath really thinks he's got it. I'm sure Jerry Taylor is very much of the same opinion, even though he was coming from behind. And a replay really doesn't do much to decide it either. There they are at the line. Well, the difference there is a couple of inches. And on the podium, finally the timekeepers announced that by 0.02 of a second, the winner is Rob Bath. The waiting is over. Jerry Taylor takes second place.
Without two guys giving it their all for the entire race.
Well, I think you can see by the in-car shots that I honestly thought I did it. It was very close, but I thought I had it at the line.
Well, he was right, but how do you judge 0.02 of a second? Ross Beer still the championship points leader from Jerry Taylor. Rolling on to pole position for Silverstone's 8th round of the Caterham Roadsport Challenge, the number 2 machine of Guy Spur. Spur yet to win a race so far in 1999. His best position has been as runner-up. Alongside him, the man who currently lies second in the championship, Rob Bath, just 2 points behind championship leader Jerry Taylor. Taylor's qualified back in 6th position. This is a good chance for Bath to enhance his chances. Well, between the two of them lies Alan Finn, who is third in the championship on row 2 of the grid. Onboard camera starting in 7th place, Peter Haynes. And a good start from him, manages to marry wheel spin with clutch slip about right. Doesn't lose any positions, and catching the leaders as they head down to the first corner. Guy Spur with the advantage of being on the inside, but Rob Bath sweeping around from the outside line. A much better run up to the first corner at Copse, and he takes the lead. Riding now in 5th place with Peter Haynes. Just ahead of him, Alan Finn in 4th place. Guy Spur, the yellow car there, that was the pole position man as they come onto the brakes. Going into Beckett's, and then through the Ireland bends. Picking up speed once more. Accelerating hard all the way. This long left-hander is a flat-out corner. And then coming down into the braking area for Abbey. Rob Bath leads from Rob Jenkinson, the orange and blue machine. Guy Spur in third place, plenty of late braking going on. Side by side, just about room for two Caterham side by side at Abbey, but not quite. Somebody losing bits of bodywork there. Jerry Taylor, the red machine, back there in sixth place. And the leader, Rob Bath, under pressure from Rob Jenkinson right away. Jerry Taylor gets by Mark Mail up into fifth as they go through Priory, then through Brooklands, around this tight infield section, and this very tricky for the Caterham drivers. These ultralight cars, much more power than they've got grip at low speeds. That means it's very easy to get the car to slide, which doesn't help. Good drive out of the final corner though, Woodcote, and onto the straight for the orange and blue machine of Rob Jenkinson. He's coming around the outside of Rob Bath, and Bath able to stay well over to the left and take the ideal racing line. Riding with Peter Haynes, he's got a good drive out of Copse ahead of us. The purple car is Alan Finn, the yellow machine of Guy Spur, weaving from side to side, looking for a way past the two leaders. And there goes Jerry Taylor. Taylor gets past us and then under-braking, trying to take that position back. Doesn't quite work. It's going to get a little bit untidy. Taylor runs very wide, loses a rear mudguard. That won't cause him too many problems. Just another check to be written for spare parts come Monday morning. Rob Bath back out front again. Jenkinson second. Third there is Alan Finn. He's got past Guy Spur. Jerry Taylor right with them, the red machine. Then the orange and blue car of Peter Haynes. So Bath back out front once more. And when he gets to read his pit board, they may be able to tell him that Jerry Taylor is up to fifth place. They may not have seen it. Taylor in fourth now, just a couple of spots behind. And this is important for Jerry Taylor, the man in the red car there, number 8. He really has to get as close to his championship rival as possible. Just 2 points in it when they came to Silverstone, and this result could tip the balance in the opposite direction. Jerry Taylor, if he can't win this one, or at least finish ahead of Rob Bath, may not hold on to his championship lead. While riding with Rob Bath, Rob Jenkinson alongside, there he is. Now, how soon would you have braked there? I'd have been braking long before that. Jerry Taylor goes around the outside of Alan Finn, Guy Spur in 5th place. Riding again now with Rob Bath, looking down the inside through Maggots, then into the Beckett's braking area. Red car is Jerry Taylor, behind him Alan Finn. Down the inside goes the yellow machine of Guy Spur. 13 there, Ross Bygrave picking up a place. He goes past Mark Mail, the white car number 5. Another change of place between 2 and 3 there. And all over the grass on the exit. Very untidy looking driving, and that will cost them time. Bath, Jenkinson, Taylor, your top 3. Then Spur and Finn. Mail back ahead now of Haynes. And behind him, Bygrave. Well, once more, battle being joined, and vigorously so, between Alan Finn and Guy Spur, the number 3 and 2 respectively. Spur back ahead of the purple car. That's Finn there in the number 3 machine. It's Ross Bygrave right ahead. And again, you can see the cars front fanning out across the track, looking for position as they come into the braking area for Abbey. Oh dear, Ross Beer goes down the inside of us, gets it all wrong and goes straight out of shot, stage left. Well, that's what happens when you outbrake yourself as well as everybody else. Race leader Rob Bath, Rob Jenkinson now under attack from Jerry Taylor. Taylor snicks through. That was a good move. Jenkinson down to 3rd place. But as these two hold themselves up around the slower, twistier parts of Silverstone circuit, Rob Bath trying to ease away out front as the 8 and the 20 car balance steering and throttle, trying to get maximum drive out of Woodcote. Rob Bath is a few lengths away. Now Rob Jenkinson, the orange nose of the number 20 machine, again showing to the left-hand side of the picture, the right-hand side of the road. Jerry Taylor, though, just far enough ahead for him not to be able to pass, but look how quickly they've caught Rob Bath. They're right with him once more. Down into Beckett's, he's the first on the brakes by a fraction, but the other two right there as well. Rob Bath a few car lengths ahead as they come out of Woodcote. The other two together, but down the long straight, they will actually be more aerodynamic if they sit in line astern than the single car on its own. Jerry Taylor goes through into the lead. With him goes Rob Jenkinson, and Jenkinson looking to pick up that place on the exit. Rob Bath coming back at them. 3 abreast now as they dive, bob and weave through Maggots and into Beckett's. Taylor, Jenkinson, Bath. Behind them, Alan Finn still in 4th, Guy Spur in 5th place, but this is such a riveting battle. Around the outside we go now, edging right up to the grass. And there, right in front of us, is Rob Jenkinson. And the camera doesn't lie, it really is as close as that. Barely room to pass a cigarette paper between the cars. Finn and Spur now in 4th and 5th place. They've got Ross Bygrave right with them in 6th position, so that's the next trio coming towards the cameras. Jerry Taylor still leading. Rob Bath goes down the inside into Priory and manages to avoid contact with Rob Jenkinson. Again into Brooklands. All over the inside of the road, 2 wheels up inside the curb to try and avoid contact. Now he's in 2nd with Jerry Taylor. Nicely balanced car here. And great drive out of the corner, right with Jerry Taylor. Almost seems to be pushing him along. He's not quite that close, but as good as. Now he will pick up a toe. Now he jumps out. He's going quicker than Taylor. More revs. And behind him, Jenkinson does exactly the same. Jenkinson on the left. Rob Bath in the middle. And Jerry Taylor on the outside. And that's how they come out of the corner, at least initially. Finn and Spur right behind them, swapping places still. Now it's Rob Bath in the lead, and again a big lead as he gets down here, but he's got in very quickly. Can he hold it together? Yes, he does. Doesn't seem to lose too much either. Jenkinson 2nd, Taylor in 3rd place. Well, now again, Taylor looking to make a move. Into the braking area he comes, right over to the inside. Cuts off Rob Jenkinson's inside move. Taylor in 2nd place, riding now with the race leader. Over the rise and down into bridge we come. Flat out right-hander. Taylor 2nd, Jenkinson 3rd, Rob Bath leading it. And who's going to try what under braking here? It'd be bizarre if nobody tried anything. Bath with just a couple of car lengths, that's enough to keep him safe from attack. So let's look at Taylor and Jenkinson. Jenkinson very close indeed in his blue fendered orange machine to the back of the all-red car of Jerry Taylor. Rob Bath running onto the grass on the outside there as they exited Luffield. And again, the other two catching him up from behind. Further back, this is Finn, Spur and Mayle. And Alan Finn looking like he lost both of his rear wings there as Jenkinson goes past Taylor. Bath coming around the tighter inside line alongside both of them. They fan out again, 3 abreast. Riding once more with the 3rd place man. And the other two almost pushing each other along. Jerry Taylor, very tight line. And, ooh, a very loose turn in indeed from Alan Finn in 4th place. Behind him, Mark Mayle. Once more with Rob Bath. Jerry Taylor right in our sights. Not moving out yet, not yet, not yet. Jerry Taylor hugging the inside line to try and avoid being outbraked down the inside. And that works for him there at least. Bath and Jenkinson right with him though. The move could come from anywhere. Plunging flat out into bridge, down the inside of Jerry Taylor, wheel to wheel through bridge bend. That's impressive stuff. Taylor on the inside though, holds down into Priory, or does he? Around the outside goes Bath. Just enough room, still on the outside of Taylor, and I expect Jenkinson. No, he's got past them. He's got past Taylor again. Rob Bath's car really does seem to handle this section very well indeed. Jerry Taylor in 2nd place, looking to the inside. Can't make a move on Rob Bath there. Rob Jenkinson still in 3rd. It's a simple fact of life in this Caterham Challenge that with more power than they've got grip, and no reliance at all on aerodynamics. It's all about overtaking opportunities, and that was one that Jerry Taylor took, tangled there with Rob Bath. Tried to get alongside him, Bath wouldn't give ground. Taylor needed it desperately, and the two of them locked together. Now Jerry Taylor compounds his problem by having too much power on the grass. You can see just how easy it is to spin these cars round. Jerry Taylor disgusted with himself or with Rob Bath or both, but out front it's Rob Jenkinson. Jenkinson comfortably ahead, power sliding his way out of Luffield to the flag. Well, that was an unexpected gift for him. I thought he would have to fight all the way to the line, and I'm sure he did too, but victory for him. And who's going to cross the line second? Alan Finn in second place. Replay now with Rob Bath on the inside. Can't turn because Jerry Taylor's car is hard up against his wheel. Well, they both select reverse and try and get going with a gap in the field.
Rob Jenkinson is the winner.
So Alan Finn in second place, Mark Mayle third, but the winner is Rob Jenkinson. Bath and Bygrave ahead of Guy Spurt. Jerry Taylor finishing down in ninth. Rob Jenkinson on pole for the start of round 9 of the Caterham Roadsports Challenge at Brands Hatch. Alongside him, Simon Bennett in the turquoise car, surprised and delighted to qualify in the front row of the grid. Good start as well from Mark Mayle, and championship leader Rob Bath with the yellow headlamps coming around the outside of Mayle into Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. Riding with Ross Beer, Jerry Taylor just ahead of us, and he's looking down the inside of Ross Bygrave. They started 7th and 8th on the grid respectively. Taylor getting back past Bygrave, the position that he lost at the start. Ross Beer right behind them. Purple car of Alan Finn just ahead of Jerry Taylor, but the race still being led by the pole man, Rob Jenkinson. Mark Mayle with Rob Bath coming down the inside. The yellow headlamps marking out the championship leader's machine. And Bath in second place, Jenkinson leading the race. Mark Mayle in third. Again, riding with Ross Beer just towards the tail end of the top 10. Ahead of us, Ross Bygrave and Jerry Taylor. Taylor shaping up to make a move. There he comes, the red car coming around the outside of the purple car of Alan Finn. Finn holding a tight line on the inside to stay out of trouble. You can hear the tyres squealing in protest. These Rhodes tyres effectively tortured around the tracks by the demands of these Caterhams. They may be very light, but they really produce a lot of power for their weight. And that means they've got high cornering speed. The tyres really struggle to keep up. Right hand side of the picture, the white car with the orange nose, that is number 5 Mark Mayle. Right behind him, Peter Haynes started in 6th place. He's all over the back of that car. Quite frankly, qualifying doesn't really seem to matter a great deal in Caterham racing. If you're 1st or 10th, you've got pretty much an equal chance of winning these races. They're so close. Down the inside as they came out to the final turn, clearways, and onto the straight went number 18. That is the championship leader, Rob Bath. Qualified 3rd, he now leads the race. Guy Spur, the lime green number 2 car, goes past our cameraman. And Simon Bennett's turquoise machine putting Jerry Taylor under pressure there for 6th position. Coming down the hill, Rob Jenkinson in 2nd place, the orange car with the blue mudguards. 3rd place, number 5, that's Mark Mayle, but the race still being led by the championship points leader, Rob Bath. Well, his mid-season advantage has been whittled away by his rivals. So Rob Bath really needs to put in a fairly demonstrative effort here. Running wide, Mark Mayle, that may cost him. There, number 3, Alan Finn, chasing Simon Bennett. And a race leader now about to come under pressure as Jenkinson comes up to the high side of the racetrack, goes around the outside into Paddock Hill Bend. Bath down the inside, he'll hold the lead from Jenkinson, but a change behind them, behind Mark Mayle. Up comes Peter Haynes, past Jerry Taylor. Taylor will fight back. There's a 5-car battle going on here. Right on the back of it, Simon Bennett's turquoise machine. So that's 6 cars all jammed together. Taylor runs wide, Bennett tries to come back past him. Jenkinson now leading, taking the lead up at Druids. Bath in 2nd place, Mayle still in 3rd. Then 44 is Peter Haynes, Jerry Taylor, then Simon Bennett. So Jenkinson, number 20, pole position man. Behind him, Rob Barth in number 18, and then third place, Mark Mayle coming under pressure. There is Mayle with the orange nose on his car. Peter Haynes and Jerry Taylor lining up beside him. They'll both have a go here. Jerry Taylor pulls out first, Haynes now pulls out, so it'll be 3 abreast. The race lead changes as well. Barth from Jenkinson, Mayle still in third. How did he do that? And side by side in fourth again, Haynes and Taylor hard at it. Haynes on the inside, but Taylor goes even more inside him. There's Ross Bygrave following this group, but can't really stay in touch, just ahead of Ross Beer. Well, again, the lead about to be disputed. Rob Jenkinson coming down the inside in the orange and blue machine, and the white car, the race leader Rob Barth can't hold him off. Mark Mayle right with them. Jerry Taylor goes down inside Peter Haynes. There he is, number 8. And Taylor moves up into fourth. Barth takes back the lead. Mayle disputing second. Jenkinson takes back the lead on the exit, so the lead changed twice in the corner there. Jenkinson, Barth, Mayle. Then behind them, Jerry Taylor with Peter Haynes all over the back of his car, and Peter Haynes' car starting to look a little damaged there. The nose of his car has made contact with the back of Jerry Taylor's, I think. Little swerve there from Haynes. That'll cost him as Taylor goes up into third. Mayle down to fourth place in number 5. Bygrave has been holding on there, not really part of this, but Jerry Taylor is out of it definitely now. The car's slowing. Hand out to the cockpit there. The number 8 slowing right down. He's pulling off to a halt. Well, it looks like he's lost his engine there for some reason. Mechanical failure takes him out. Ross Beer still battling with Guy Spur. They're behind this lead group, but their battle is just as intense. Positions changing all the time between them, and around the outside coming someone else. Well, Ross Beer holds on to his position at Druids. Rob Jenkinson still holds on to his lead from Rob Barth. Barth in the championship lead from Jerry Taylor by just 3 points as they came into this race, and he looks on target to score certainly more than Jerry Taylor does. You saw him there looking fairly disconsolate. Jerry Taylor's race run here at Brands Hatch, so Rob Barth needs to score as high as he can. That means staying on the track no matter what else happens. Alan Finn here chasing 44, that's Peter Haynes. He's got Simon Bennett in contact. That's the battle for 4th, 5th and 6th. Jerry Taylor would have been right in front of them had he not just had to retire. Jenkinson leading, Barth second, Mayle third. Looking pretty static amongst the leaders. Oh, but Paul Whitford and number 14, Neil Hinson, making contact there. Hinson trying to find reverse and pulling away from that. Now, having said how static it was, contact under braking between the race leader Rob Jenkinson and the championship points leader Rob Barth. While Barth's wheel momentarily bouncing up in the air as he ran into the back of Jenkinson. Has he got a problem? Will he finish the race? Well, it looks as though at the moment he is okay. That may have deranged the front end, maybe affecting his steering and the balance of the car a little bit. Mark Mayle in third place there, ready to capitalise on any mistake, and most important now for Rob Barth will be not to take any risks with the car. Guy Spur ahead of us again as we ride with Ross Beer through Surtees and into McLaren, braking and getting onto the power to run out onto the straight. Rob Barth still seems to be motoring along okay, and when Jerry Taylor sees that on replay, he will curse his bad luck and the fact that Rob Barth didn't have a more major problem. Mark Mayle, the orange nose on the number 5 car, all over the back of Rob Barth and sensing a chance to move up into second place here. Rob Jenkinson felt that impact, I'm sure, but has managed to pull out a little advantage now over Rob Barth. Mark Mayle third, still in fourth place Peter Haynes with that slightly damaged looking nose. Jenkinson slides the car all the way round through clearways and out onto the Brabham straight. Alan Finn and Simon Bennett still 5th and 6th. Neither actually close enough to make any trouble for the man in 4th place, Peter Haynes, as they go on to the final lap. Rob Jenkinson with a huge lead by Caterham standards in any category of Caterham racing. It's the better part of a second and a half. Rob Barth still holding off Mark Mayle for second place. Vital for Bath that he scores here. With Jerry Taylor out of the running, he could give himself a little bit of breathing space. In fact, with Alan Finn and Rob Jenkinson scoring strongly as well. Jenkinson here in number 20 looking set to win. They will both jump ahead of Jerry Taylor in the championship standings, and Rob Bath will be the points leader. But from Alan Finn and Rob Jenkinson, the winner of the race here at Brands Hatch, round 9 of the championship falls to him. He moves into 3rd place in the title race ahead of Jerry Taylor, but Rob Bath holds on to the points lead. Ross Beer here chasing Guy Spur all the way to the line, and the drag race just in favour of Guy Spur. Well, victory for Rob Jenkinson, moving him up into 3rd place in the championship. 2nd in points is Alan Finn, but Rob Bath leads by 11. A misty Scottish circuit of Knockhill, the venue for rounds 10 and 11 of the Caterham Roadsports Challenge. And drama for the poleman at the beginning of round 10. Jerry Taylor's exhaust dragging on the ground, a broken rear bracket, allowing the exhaust system to drag on the road. The marshals deeming it not safe, and so he is pushed off the grid, much to the delight of the drivers who start behind him. Rob Bath sharing a joke with Mark Mayle alongside him on row 2 of the grid at the expense of Jerry Taylor. Work done to allow the championship contender to start from the pit lane, but left and front of us, Rob Jenkinson now heads the field away from the outside of row 1 in car number 20. Should be a good run down to the first corner for Rob Bath. He gets a decent getaway, but already looking back from Rob Jenkinson, he has secured the lead. Bath to the left, Mayle to the right, and they make it safely through the first turn. Well, the twists and turns, the climbs and plunges of Knockhill, very demanding territory. These light, powerful Caterham Roadsports races really should be very much up to the job. An excellent circuit for such drivers' cars. Well, early on, Rob Bath in 18 making his move around the outside of Rob Jenkinson, under braking for the hairpin that ends the lap at Taylor's. Well, their battle was swiftly ended by a red flag. Malcolm Cook losing control of the dark car number 19, being collected by Paul Whitford, who couldn't avoid him. Stephen Worley also going off there. Red flags brought out to stop the race while the damage was cleared up. Well, that was after 6 laps, and Jerry Taylor there hadn't really had a chance to fight his way back up to the lead order. Cook's car with severely damaged front suspension, not able to be moved. But once it was, they were ready to go again for part 2 of the race, a further 5 laps. They start with Rob Jenkinson and Rob Bath on the front row of the grid. Bath on pole because he'd been leading at the time that the red flag came out. Immediately problems in the middle of the field though, and bodywork being shed by Alan Finn, the purple car, as he gets squeezed from both sides in the middle, and still more bits coming off the purple number 3 car. It really isn't Stephen Worley's day. Normally races super lights, a guest driver here in the Roadsports, and he's off into the gravel again at the outside of the first corner. Well, riding with our race leader, Rob Bath, through the very demanding chicane. Under pressure from behind by Rob Jenkinson. Mayle in 3rd, Bygrave 4th. Finn in 5th place, Haynes going up the inside of Beer for 6th, and behind them in 8th place, Jerry Taylor, continuing his recovery. Ross Beer gets all over the dirt. The battle for the lead continues. Bath holding the inside line from Jenkinson. Keeps out front under braking at Taylor's. Ross Bygrave goes up ahead of Mark Mayle for 3rd place there. And it's complete confusion as Jerry Taylor picks up a spot, but there are a couple of cars off. So once more the slippery surface flags are out at the start-finish line. There's no such thing as a debris flag, but there probably should be, I think, for Caterham Racing, because you have the slightest rub on these cars, they do tend to shed mudguards all over the place. Looking back from Jenkinson, Bath, Bygrave, Mayle, Finn, and now up into 6th place, Jerry Taylor. There is Ross Beer, having recovered from his little grassy excursion. Flies over the chicane. Jenkinson leads the race. Jerry Taylor, one of the championship contenders, really needs to have a good result here. Mark Mayle flapping bodywork ahead of Alan Finn. And bailing out is Neil Hinson there, car number 14. You can see that there's bits missing from Rob Jenkinson's car as well. Up into 3rd place goes the 13 of Ross Bygrave, and around goes Alan Finn. Under pressure spinning out as he tries to get the power on too early. Around the outside goes Rob Bath, goes out of sight of the rear-facing camera. And now he's on the outside line, coming down into Duffus Dip. Very demanding piece of the track, and takes a brave man to go around the outside. And he's plunging downhill there. Scotland's answer to Paddock Hill Bend, that. Mark Mayle holding on ahead of Jerry Taylor. I wonder for how long. Taylor fired up. Made up a handful of positions in the first part of the race and continuing that good work now. Rearward view from Rob Jenkinson's car. Let's look again at the start. There goes the purple car of Alan Finn. That's where Jenkinson lost bits of his car. So they were all falling off Finn's car. Some of it was his, some was Jenkinson's, and some was Bath's. And Finn perhaps seeing a gap at the start that wasn't there by the time everybody had selected second gear. And that so often happens as the leaders get themselves together and realise the threats. They close the gap in the middle. No gap between them now on the racetrack again. The two Robs, Jenkinson and Bath, hard at it. We ride with Bath. Jenkinson is on the outside this time. Bath turns in over the curbs, flings the car down the hill. Jenkinson right with him. Great battle between these two, so evenly matched. Jerry Taylor, oh, how did he not touch him? Inside Mark Mayle, thought for certain he was going to hit Mayle's front wheel with his rear. That would have at least thrown a mudguard off in the air and very probably put Mayle off the road, but managed to avoid the contact. Nicely judged indeed. Jenkinson goes back ahead of Bath. Taylor up to fourth place now. Ahead of him is Ross Bygrave as the battle for the lead continues, and behind Jerry Taylor, the turquoise car, Simon Bennett working his way up the order as well. Jenkinson holds on the inside. Bath goes very wide. Does he get a good run up the hill? Well, not enough to make any ground up on the race leader. So honours even there. Following in the aerodynamic hole in the air that has been created by the race leader, picks up some speed. Now he pulls out, and again he's on the outside. Again they're absolutely level into the braking area. Well, but for a foot or so, and that's enough to give Jenkinson a chance to stay ahead. Through Duffus Dip, then the right-hander at McIntyre. Oh my goodness, this is going to be very close here as well. Just sweeping through goes Stephen Worley. Not quite sure what the hand signal there indicated, but he got through anyway. Jenkinson, Bath, Bygrave, Taylor. First four, as close as you like. Final lap and the final corner coming up. Last lap dramas. Let's see what will happen here. Jenkinson guarding the inside. Bath goes around the outside. Taylor goes past into third place. Just makes it round the corner, but Bygrave doesn't. Bygrave is off. Looking back from the race leader. This is the run to the flag. Bath is right behind us. We ride with him now. He pulls out. He's alongside. Will he make it in the sprint to the flag? Oh, a photo finish. Rob Bath looks over at Rob Jenkinson, who was alongside him there at the line. Well, Rob Bath, I think, suspects that he may just have got that one by nothing more than a short nose. And indeed, his suspicion is to prove correct. He gets it by 0.03 of a second. That must be, oh, I don't know, maybe the depth of a coat of paint on the Caterham. Who won, he says. He won't know until he gets back to the pits and the team telly. Well, typical cold and blustery autumnal weather. Everybody well wrapped up against the stiff breeze and the damp coming down from the hillsides. Ready to go then for round 11. Oh, and a full start there by the number 5 machine. Poleman Mark Mayle gets going before the lights change, stops, and then completely blows the start. Rob Jenkinson held up badly there, as you saw from the onboard, and that means the man who won the first race here, gifted with a handsome getaway. Rob Bath leads. Right in the middle there, Jerry Taylor, and the man who started on pole position, Mark Mayle. What a dreadful, dreadful squandering of pole position. Ross Beer in second, Alan Finn third, and Rob Jenkinson in fourth place. Really caught out by having to go round the stationary poleman as the lights eventually did change. Well, here we are with Rob Jenkinson. Ahead of him, Alan Finn. You wonder why he might have a blue mudguard on an otherwise purple car, because he's already been in one race. Oh, Jerry Taylor coming up in the mirrors. It's going to be 3 abreast into Taylor's. No, it's not. Jerry Taylor can't quite make it past Finn, nor indeed can Jenkinson. Peter Haynes on the curbs on the inside, trying to go inside Mark Mayle. Doesn't quite make that either, but dramatic last corner there at the end of the first lap. Riding across the line with Rob Jenkinson. Jerry Taylor's got past him in the tow from Alan Finn. On the outside is Jenkinson, gets back in front of Jerry Taylor. Look in the driver's mirror, Taylor's there, the sort of tiger-striped car. Jenkinson gets past Finn, Taylor still behind, and the cameras pan round. I don't believe it, Stephen Worley finds the gravel yet again. I doubt if he will ever race a Caterham Roadsports again. He never has this much trouble in a season of Superlights. Bad luck seems to be finding him here at Knock Hill. Third place now with Rob Jenkinson. The race leader is Rob Bath. Second place, Ross Beer. Jenkinson third, Taylor fourth. Behind him in fifth place, Ross Bygrave. Somebody shedding bits of wing there. Oh, it's not, it's the nose of Mark Mayall's car that's gone off. And down the inside comes the pale blue car of Simon Bennett, trying to attack the yellow car of Guy Spur. Mark Mayall, he's got the wipers on, and I think he's pouring steam from the front. He's gone into the back of somebody, he's lost the nose, he's punctured the radiator, he's gone into the pits from pole position to nowhere. What a disaster for him. Jerry Taylor goes around the outside of Ross Bygrave. Big slide as he bumps over the curb at the bottom of Duffer Stip into McIntyre. He's still ahead. Down the hill again, then plunging downhill. Up to the chicane they come. And here at the back of the field, Peter Haynes. Well, he was in the top half dozen. Let's have a look what happened. This is exiting the chicane on the previous lap. Alan Finn very wide on the dirt. Around he goes. Everybody avoids him, but Peter Haynes has to take to the boggy grass. He spins round as well, and then has to wait for the entire field to come past. With Rob Jenkinson chasing Rob Bath, first and second place, as they were in round 10, the first race here at Knock Hill. They had a sensational scrap. Jenkinson's already disposed of Ross Beer, and the battle is on again between the two first race protagonists. Bath in second place now. He's used to this. He's followed Jenkinson for about half of the first race, and Jenkinson followed him for about the other half. It's probably about a third each. A third of the time they were side by side would be more like it. Ross Beer in third place. Jerry Taylor needs to work himself into the frame again, as he did in race one. Peter Haynes working himself back up the order now. Jerry Taylor and Ross Bygrave in fourth and fifth in the race at the moment. They had a great scrap in race one. It ended with Taylor taking third place and Bygrave going off on the final corner of the last lap. Goodness me, Peter Haynes all over the curbs there as he struggles to get past Neil Hinson's number 14. There is Jenkinson, big slide into Taylor's, but he holds it on the exit and gets drive up the hill, and that's the critical part here. Little red light comes on the dashboard just to remind Rob Bath he's at maximum revs, and it will give no more power. Using every single ounce of performance this car has to give him. Deep in on the brakes. Nice entrance over the curbs. Nice tight line at the bottom of the hill in Duffer Stip. And still the battle rages around Neil Hinson. 77, Nick Jacobs trying to go down the inside. Doesn't quite work there. He's got a good drive out on the outside. Hinson's going, get away, what's going on? Well, he tugs in behind. Here are our race leaders. Two Robs, Jenkinson from Bath, 20 from 18. Riding again with Rob Bath. He seemed quite able to stay with the pace of Rob Jenkinson this time. Riding with Jenkinson. Oh, very late indeed into Taylor's. Just held on to it, but I think he'll have really lost some momentum in the corner. Let's ride with Rob Bath, see if he can take advantage. The problem when you're so close is that you may also lose ground when the leader does. But this time he gets ahead of him over the line. No, he doesn't. He gets alongside, and Jenkinson's getting braver every time into Duffus. This time Bath holds on. Oh, big slide on the exit there as well. This is fantastic stuff. These cars, for the amount of power they have, really have very little mechanical grip. Superb chassis, superb balance and handling. But if you're not prepared to let the car slide, you can't drive it quickly. What does it say on the back of Rob Bath's car? These wings are very expensive. Please try hard not to knock them off. I don't know, but it might as well do. He goes back ahead of Jenkinson. Jenkinson dived in, couldn't get the power down early enough to stay ahead on the exit, and Bath just flashed across his bows. Fighting his way back up the field after his earlier spin. There is car number 3, Alan Finn. Replay here of Bath being passed by Jenkinson into Clark. Jenkinson goes in deep, breaks in the middle of the corner, slides out wide, and Bath picks up the place again. Well, Bath leading now, Jenkinson in second place. Across the line all on their own. Rossbeer in third, being monstered by Jerry Taylor. Taylor looking to take another third place here. Ross Bygrave in fifth. Taylor goes by him, no problem. Can he catch the leaders though? That's perhaps the big question. Incidentally, you want to know how fast these guys are going? Look down at the lap timer just below the red emergency handle there. Lap 26 of the circuit, 1 minute 1.45. That was Rob Jenkinson's time there. Turquoise car of Simon Bennett, the yellow car of Guy Spur, battling for sixth place here. That's as close as the lead squabble. Rob Bath still leading Rob Jenkinson. Holds on to the inside line, down to Taylor's, the final corner. Jenkinson can't go inside and can't really find the room to go around the outside, so it's a race up the hill. The car behind gets into still air behind the leader and then gets a little bit of extra pace. Able to pull out a few hundred RPM up the hill and try and use that extra momentum to slingshot past into the braking area. That's exactly how Rob Jenkinson does it. Gets past Bath. A couple of spots of water on Bath's windscreen, probably from the trackside puddles as opposed to from the clouds. Rossbeer and Ross Bygrave battling there behind them. Flying over the curbs at the chicane come the leaders. Jenkinson, Bath, Taylor third, and then Beer and Bygrave battle for fourth and fifth. So two Robs battling for the lead, two Rosses battling for fourth place. Should be another Jerry in the middle with Jerry Taylor, but we don't have enough of those. Apparently the Roadsports Challenge to make it as symmetrical as that. Bath behind Jenkinson. Down into Taylor's. Here is Alistair Inglis, National Saloon Cup driver, ahead of Paul Whitford, who got caught up in the red flag incident in the first race. His car now repaired and back to racing order there, 8th and 9th. And across the line they go. From 59 second lap the last time round to a 1 minute 2 second lap this time round, according to Rob Bath's onboard timer. That means that the battle is getting more and more frantic. Ditto here between the two Rosses. Beer now ahead of Bygrave. And on the final lap, it's Jenkinson ahead of Bath in the battle of the Robs. Jenkinson gets it all out of shape going into the final corner at Taylor's. You can see Bath in the mirrors there, riding with Rob Bath. Here is a chance to overtake Jenkinson again in the run to the line. No, he hits the back of his car. Well, that will slow him down enough. Jenkinson wins from Rob Bath. Well, that was very nearly an action replay of round 10, where out of the final corner in second place, across the line in first went Rob Bath. This time he hit the back of Rob Jenkinson, who wins by 13 hundredths of a second from Rob Bath. Bath still the championship points leader. Final round of the Caterham Roadsports Challenge at Donington Park, and Rob Bath on pole position, leading the championship and hoping to tie it up here at this race. Jerry Taylor alongside him, fresh from his race in the Caterham Superlights. And in third place on the grid, the other championship challenger, Rob Jenkinson. Alongside him, car number 5 is Mark Mayle. Well, essentially, whichever of the two Robs wins the race will probably win the Roadsports Challenge for 1999 as well. We take the start with Rob Jenkinson, loads of wheel spin. Nice change into second gear, into third as we rush down towards Redgate, the first corner. And Rob Bath, the white car on the left-hand side of the picture, just takes the lead there from Jerry Taylor. Looking back from Bath, there is Jerry Taylor, behind him Rob Jenkinson, then Mark Mayle, Alan Finn, Rossbeer, and spinning off his 14, that's Neil Hinson. He goes off onto the grass at Redgate, the first time of asking. Well, damp track as you can see, and threatening skies as well. Will the track get wetter or drier? The Roadsports cars use grooved road tyres anyway, but they still find the track very slippery indeed. Jerry Taylor there, getting the wrong gear, got third instead of fifth out of fourth gear from the old hairpin, and that slows him right down. Rob Bath tippy-toeing around. Rob Jenkinson moves up into second. It's Jerry Taylor in third place ahead of 11, that's Ross Beer. And a couple of the stragglers who got the old hairpin wrong being reintroduced to terra firma there. Bath leading then, Jenkinson second, Taylor third. And Beer and Mayle battling for fourth place. Two white cars there in 4th and 5th respectively, and the two Robs, 1st and 2nd. Looking back from Rob Barth to Rob Jenkinson. Getting very close indeed. Go away, too close for comfort there from the rear-mounted camera. Let's take a look from the end of the straight at Redgate as Barth still leads from Jenkinson. Big slide there from Mark Mayle ahead of Ross Beer in 4th and 5th places, but he holds on. You can see it is very slippery indeed here. These cars very short of grip. And this is something that Caterham Road drivers will be familiar with. The wet weather makes it a very lively enterprise indeed, handling these cars. Rob Barth on the left-hand side of the picture, and alongside him Rob Jenkinson, really putting the pressure on here to try and win this one. Barth still leads, Jenkinson 2nd, Jerry Taylor in 3rd place. And they are the lead group, the rest of them squabbling behind, led by Mark Mayle and Ross Beer in 4th and 5th. There is Mayle with the orange noseband, Beer, car 11, and down inside him has gone Ross Bygrave, number 13. So two Robs battling, two Rosses battling at either end of the top 6. Oh, big lock up there as somebody shoots out of picture, only just manages to avoid the gravel there as well. Let's have a look back at the old hairpin, first time of asking. Look up the hill, and you can see where the grip becomes very limited indeed. Further down though, contact between 22 Amos Roney and Malcolm Cook inside him in car number 19. And also going off there someone else, that's Martin Clark, number 34. Well, here is the 19 car, Malcolm Cook, back on track. There was the man who outbraked himself hugely, Alan Spate, car number 28. That was right here at Redgate. Alan Finn here on the outside line of the 44 car of Peter Haynes. And nearly disastrous for both of them. Very tricky conditions indeed for these men. Rob Barth leads, Rob Jenkinson 2nd, Jerry Taylor in 3rd place. And right behind them, the orange nose, that's Mark Mayle in 4th. So we've got the top 4 on the grid in the top 4 positions in the race, and only slightly shuffled around from the way they started. The difference being that Taylor was 1 ahead and Jenkinson was 1 back on the grid of the positions they're in now. 32 there, Stuart Wright. He is battling for position as well. Anthony Jackson, the man challenging him, and Rob Jenkinson, the man challenging Rob Barth here for the lead. Taylor right with them, and Mark Mayle in close attendance. Finn here battling with Spur. Alan Finn 3, Guy Spur number 2. Two of the more distinctive colour schemes on the racetrack. The deep purple and the lurid yellow. Well, they continue their battle. Down the inside goes Guy Spur. Alan Finn's got it covered though, and more covering going on here. Very deep into the corner goes 77, and that is Nick Jacobs. And he gets past the 41 car, that's VJ Angelo. Oh, and Angelo's got 96. Anthony Jackson alongside him. Jackson just holds it together there. Rejoining Rob Barth, this is what it would look like if you were foolish enough to sit on the back of a Caterham during the race. Except obviously everybody would be flying past you because you'd nearly double the weight of the car. Past Rob Barth on the outside goes Rob Jenkinson, Jerry Taylor closing right up on him. But Barth with the inside line holds on. In the dry, that move of Jenkinson's would probably have worked. In the wet, there is just not enough grip off the racing line. Bright sunshine in this late autumn afternoon to contend with, as well as rain on the windscreen. That makes conditions very tricky for the drivers, particularly as they come up to Coppice Corner and into the braking area here at Goddard's. They're looking directly into the late afternoon sunshine through a windscreen that is wet and getting wetter as the rain now starts to teem down, and that could really upset the apple cart here for everybody. Well, it's going to mean that the track is suddenly going to become less like tarmac and more like ice for these Caterham racers, and the nerves of Rob Barth and Rob Jenkinson will be really very taut indeed. Riding with Jenkinson, race leader Barth ahead. There is the view back from Barth as Jenkinson this time goes to the inside at Redgate. He comes out wide as Barth moves onto the racing line, but he's got through. So Rob Jenkinson leads. Can he hold on? Big opposite lock slides. He was so desperate to get the power on there. He held the car, but lost the lead again. Down the inside goes Nick Jacobs, and there's contact there. Well, everybody just about sorting themselves out. 6 cars involved there. The man who comes off worst was the man who started last on the grid, Ed Taylor. Spur goes past Finn, and still Jenkinson chasing Bath. And look at the water now, it really is pouring down, and the track is very, very slick indeed. Again, Jenkinson on the inside line. You can see how reduced the visibility is. These cars have got windscreen wipers, but that's really for decorative effect as much as anything else. They don't do an awful lot to clear the windscreen. There's no criticism of the Caterham. It's just a fact of life with a screen that tiny. Generally, these cars don't fare too well when it comes to clearing water. Still, Jenkinson with the lead now, goes through the slower traffic. Rob Bath right behind him. And the race reaching its climax, and with it the championship too. Rob Bath led on points coming into this race from Rob Jenkinson by 13 points, a seemingly impossible mountain to climb with only 20 for victory. But they both have to drop 2 scores, and at the moment it looks as though the race and the championship may go to Jenkinson. Problems further back. Off goes car number 4. Getting it wrong there, Philip Darby. And as they come down the Starkey Straight for the final time, Jenkinson on the inside line. Bath tries to go around the outside. There's a back marker in the way. And that is the end of Rob Bath's challenge, surely. He is spun out. Jenkinson keeps it going. Bath will never be able to make it to the line from there. So Rob Jenkinson wins the race and the Caterham Roadsports Challenge for 1999. They were trying to get around Tim Miller. Rob Bath had to try and make a move. He went all the way around the outside, but in the end, the back marker spelt doom for him and his championship chances. He finishes, but he finishes in 5th place, and Rob Jenkinson with victory as we see it again here. Contact between the two of them was almost inevitable as they tried to squeeze 2 into a 1-car gap. Comes across the line, and he knows there that he has done all he needs. He wins the championship again from the outside. Bath had to make the move. Jenkinson couldn't really have moved over much further. They were both desperately committed under braking. In fact, the way they went in there so late, neither of them would have made it round the corner had the back marker been there or not. In fact, they were so desperate to outbrake each other. And drama at the final corner as well for Jerry Taylor. In 3rd place with Ross Bygrave right behind him until Neil Hinson loses it. Miss him, can't miss him. Damn, says Jerry Taylor, selects reverse. And while he is trying to scrabble for grip and get by, 3rd place goes begging because Ross Bygrave snicks past him at the line. It's a drag race to the flag, but there's no time for Jerry Taylor to make it back. Bygrave is 3rd in the race, Jerry Taylor is 4th. But Taylor takes 3rd in points behind Rob Bath and the championship winner, Rob Jenkinson. It was all sorted out in the final corner of the final race of the year. Jenkinson the winner of the race and also of the championship.